As promised, here is the tour of the coop. Right now it's open and everybody's out, so I guess it's a good time to visit. This is a pressurized water system that's being installed. It's a 55-gallon drum. It has a white piece of PVC back there as a pressure tank. So the pump is going to pull out of the bottom of that drum and pressurize that tank, and that is where the water will be pulled from the bottom of that pressurized tank. It's hooked into a water collection system here on the roof, and this roof is a little steep slope, and if this wasn't here, if this screen guard wasn't here, the water would shoot out and come over the edge of the gutter. I guess I could have put it up a little closer, but that's as close as I really wanted it to go in order to get a good drop to this side. Everything drains to this side and through a hole in the bottom. Put a plug like this for a garden hose adapter and press that into that hole. It's nice and tight and gives a relatively flat surface, so there's not a lot of holdup, not a lot of water held up in the gutter. Drains down through that black tubing, back around and through. That piece of tubing standing up is to provide some head pressure when we fill this up. If we fill it up with a garden hose, there's a garden hose adapter here. Screw that onto a garden hose and fill it up. If we don't have that black pipe on there, that black tubing up there, it comes out that T. We need some sort of overflow air pressure vent, and that T acts as the vent for that. So when we pressurize it, when we put water in there, the garden hose pressure goes, pushes it out to the top and overflows. Put that in there, it goes up about 8-10 inches and equilibrates, so that's how much extra pressure is on there. Anyway, that water feeds down through a set of PVC pipes to some nipples or cups, watering cups, and to that dish over here. These cups are not in use at this time. There's a valve up in here to turn those off, and that is because it is not on a level slope, and those cups need to be mounted level in order to work properly, and if it's not on a level slope, then they drain or they don't fill at all. But this water there stays fairly full. Right now it's on gravity feed because the pressure pump I bought has a shutoff at 65 psi, and that is really too much pressure for this system. I have to find a lower pressure one to replace it with. Eventually there will be a solar panel across the top. It will be angled like this, opposite to the roof. That gives us some additional water collection space. It drains back onto the roof and into the gutter. It also provides for reflected light so that the actual angle of the solar panel is less sensitive, and we get reflected light off of the roof onto the solar panel, which generates electricity and helps add to the efficiency. The bottom part of the coop is 8 by 8 by 2 feet, and there's plenty of room for them to get in there and get in under the shade. We have water and a feeder in there. We got that 5-pound feeder, that blue 5-pound feeder in there. They like it pretty good. Have plenty of water. We are open on all sides. See here in the front that we have 2 doors that open wide so they can get in and out. We also have out in the pasture here, we have some water. We got a big bucket of water there and a big bucket of water there. No matter how fresh they are, within a few minutes the ducks have them muddy. But the chicks don't seem to mind, and they're able to get in there and have plenty of water there. We also have another bucket of water further off in the further down the pasture for another set of ducks. So here we can see one of the chickens drinking out of that bowl. That's a nice little design. It seems to work well. We do have some problems with it getting plugged on a gravity feed system. A little bit of schmutz, a little bit of something lightly floating in the water can sometimes get in there and plug up that valve, and we have to back flush it with a water hose or some other pressurized system. Never had any problem with a pressurized system when we put it on that pump. We have another one over in one of our tractors, one of our brooder runs, and it works well. It's on a 45. I think that pressure cutoff is 35 psi, and it works fine on that. On the top here, we've got a large door, 4x4 door there, and on the other side here, we got a little door that folds up, so we can get to pretty much all of the open space, all the clear space underneath in case we need to access anything. And there's another view of those waters and that piping system. On this side, well, there's a ramp there. You may have seen it earlier. There's a ramp there up into the coop itself, where the hens will be laying their eggs, and then this just provides some weather protection for that ramp, and give them a little extra headspace to get up in there. We're going to be putting the rollout nest box on this side. You can see where I've marked it across here. That I want the bottom of it, I want the roost part of it 12 inches above the bottom of the coop floor. And so that means the bottom of the rollout box needs to be 5 inches above the bottom of the floor. And the rollout section itself is 7 inches tall. So between 5 and 7 inches, we need a hole. It's a little more than 2 feet wide, which is unfortunate because I really wanted to put it in the back, but there's not enough room between the supports in the back, so it's going to have to go on the side. In the back, see again down at the bottom, we got double doors that are wide open. That allows them to get in and out. Also gives them some air circulation. The coop is open on the front part of the coop is open on all sides. It is enclosed in the back half on 2 sides and partially on the third side here. We got an enclosure here that provides a little shelter from the wind. In the cold weather, they can get in that corner and still get outside. These doors, though, will be open for ventilation. On the inside of the coop, we've got a mesh floor. This is 1/2 inch hardware cloth, and that's to let the poop fall through. And people are concerned that the poop's going to fall on the birds in the bottom. Well, yeah, it does. And they can get out of the way. You can see one now coming up. Get kind of curious coming up that ramp. Maybe a little problem with it, but they'll get there. It's fairly simple inside. We do have the corners braced well. This is intended to be mobile, so we're going to be dragging it around. Well, when we need to. That will help eliminate some of the nitrogen load underneath, as well as give us the opportunity to move the pasture from different sections of the property. So we'll be mounting the nesting box on that wall. You can see that it's a clear space horizontally. We have a vertical piece there, and that may run into problems. I'll have to check on that. I forgot that. I have horizontal space clear there that we can get in between 5 and 7 inches. We may need to add a spacer at the bottom and bring it in a little bit to accommodate that cross brace up there. We have roosts here. They're well above the ground. We can put more in there if we need to. They're originally for support, but they also serve as a roost. And you can see that the bottom is fairly open. And that brings us back around to the first side we were looking at. Down here in the corners, we have a ring to tie onto to pull it. That little piece of something hanging off of it there was an attempt to provide jack, a place to put a scissor jack to raise and lower the coop to help level it out. That did not work real well. The jacks were, well, for the same reason you don't want to be under a car that's supported by just a jack. You also don't want to support a coop by just a jack. They tend to fall over and give way. So, looking for a little better solution. May have something coming up when I get it worked out. We'll give it a shot. Now, I mounted this on here a little offset. It's not fully inside, and so we didn't enclose it. And that gives us a little more room inside the coop. It also allows the sides and support bars to support the drum as well. The support bar that's running along here is a 2x4, and it runs to the front, and it's supported with a 45-degree cross brace, which you can see here. That gives plenty of support for that drum. We can get it full. We try not to move it when it's full. So if we do have to move it and it's full, we drain it and then refill it. We tried moving it full, and we tore one of the rings off of the front. So we made a change in that operating process. First step in putting this Hengear rollout box in is to cut a hole. And that's the hole we're going to be cutting. I do want to make another couple of measurements just to confirm that everything's going to be okay. We don't have to do anything else. So the first step is to cut a hole, and that's the hole we're going to be cutting using a DeWalt cordless jigsaw, and we'll show you that getting started. I'm not going to go through the whole process, just some of the more significant steps, but you'll get to see most of what's happening. Well, as expected, things didn't work out. That Hengear nest is on the back of it is 21.5 inches tall, which means that I can't put it a foot off of the floor. I can't put the roost a foot off the floor because it runs into that cross support, and that support is necessary for cross bracing when we move the coop. So we're going to have to put it down on close to the bottom. So we redrew the lines, and so we'll start cutting those out right now. We're using the DeWalt cordless jigsaw. It's got a tip blade on it that allows you to plunge cut, and we'll be doing that starting with the bottom line. Once it's through, just a regular jigsaw. Okay, there's the hole. Time for the first test fit, see if it actually fits in the hole. I already have it sitting inside. All I need to do is pull it through, maybe, if I can. And it's not quite wide enough, so trim up the sides again. Forgot to account for the screw heads. I have to cut a little notch for them. There we go. So that's what it's going to look like. Put a lid on here, show you that in just a second. I want to go in and brace up the front inside. And y'all don't need to see that. So, well, we got it fixed. We, turns out, didn't need anything under the front of it. This bottom line here is directly up on that mesh, which is kind of what I wanted. So the front is on the mesh, so we don't need anything under the front. What I did do is drill holes in the back of this, not the back that opens, but the rear support, the folded in edge of the side, and then screw through those holes into this plywood. That gives it nice, it makes it nice and firm and stuck in there, and it's not going to be moving around much. It's supposed to be hung from brackets, a couple of metal U-shaped or J-shaped brackets. You drill on the inside and mount them, and then the whole thing's supposed to hang on those brackets. Couldn't do that because of this cross piece here, and so I just drilled a couple of holes inside and screwed it in. That should be good enough. Now, if you'll remember in the assembly video, this lid was supposed to go like this. It had 3/8 inch bolts coming in through here and fold down like that. But as I suspected and as I showed in the assembly video, it bangs into the back of this. So that's no good. So what I'm going to do is flip it over and put it this way. Now this is flipped over and turned upside down. So the handle, what was on the top, is now on the bottom, and the hinge, which was in the front, is now at the back. So front to back, flip it over, upside down. It's going to let me put it down here like so. I'll hinge it at the back here, and so it'll lift up like this. I'm going to bend something. I'm going to bend this end just a little bit. That lets the edges lay flat on the edges, and this handle stick down over it. Closes off the sides a little bit better, and makes a little better rain protection. Not a whole lot, but a little better. And this sun is brutal out here today, so if you get sun glare, forgive me, I had to do that. What I'm going to use as a hinge pin, though, are these barrel bolts. I needed something that would say, I get it too. I needed something 3/8 of an inch in diameter that would go in here and be faceted to this or come through that somehow. I was thinking about an L hook, but getting everything to line up well, I don't know, it just didn't seem like it'd be an easy thing to do. But I thought of this barrel bolt, and it'll fit in here like so. It is a tight fit, and we lock it in place, and it'll lift up like this. So let's get these on, and we'll finish putting this together. Now this is going right up against the edge, the side. I'm going to mark it first first couple anyway, just so I know where to go and pre-screw some holes in. I'm going to make sure we get this edge up against the right edge. So it's going up against the edge and up just a bit to accommodate that sheet metal. And we'll put a couple of screws in there. Now, rather than drill, I'm just going to pre-screw these in to make that screw hole. It seems to work just as well. And I don't have to carry another piece of equipment around with me like a drill. So, put this together such as that. Screw it up. Let it hang for a bit until I get this other one in there. Now you don't need all 6 of these screws in there. That's good enough. Remember I told you get the right side to the edge here? I didn't. You want the end that the barrel comes out up against the coop. I do not want to drop a screw in this grass, because I will never find it until we go to mow. And then we got the problem. So, just come over like that, latch in place, that'll work as a hinge pin. I'll grab some screws and get the other one on. Now the lid slips on like this. Slip it into the hinge pin or barrel bolt. Shut those down. And we got a lid that opens the right way. We still got an opening here. Not much we can do about that. Well, we could, but it's not really worth the trouble, I don't think. A little light's not going to hurt, and a little ventilation certainly help. So now, rather than having a lid that opens this way, you're having to reach over or around to get the eggs. You got one that comes up like this, and I can just reach in here directly, get the eggs like that. I will probably get a little magnet and stick up here to hold that in place. Get it out of the way while I'm working with it. But there it is. That is the installation of the Hengear rear rollout nest box. If you like what you see, hit that like button. If you want to see more, subscribe and hit that notify bell. And we will talk to you later.